Alright, what's up, y'all? I'm literally at a hotel, and I'm still going to be doing the live chat with my guy Nick, talking about the latest episode, but I guess I kind of got to talk about it somehow, right here, right now. So, that was a crazy episode. I mean, I think more than any other episode, there's so much to talk about. Like, everyone I've seen is focused on like the big stuff, and I too, obviously, Ahsoka and the Thrawn name drop, and who's gonna be the Jedi when they get to the planet that shows up. Is it Ezra? Is it Luke? Like that's all good stuff. But man, I was shocked to hear Baby Yoda's background. I mean, there have been so many theories over time, but I mean, he was actually trained. Like, he was actually trained on Coruscant. They said, this is the quotes I just watched, he had multiple masters. He said many masters. They also said that he was hidden, when Order 66 goes on. That makes sense. But then he was stolen. Someone took him from the temple, and he can't remember anything from there. That's all interesting stuff. I mean, there's a story to tell there. That, I mean, we're going to get it all right now, or in The Mandalorian even. But there is a story to tell there. And I'm interested in it. I dig it. I dig the whole thing. I dig the Grogu. Am I saying that right? Grogu. I like the name. I think it's interesting that he has been trained and has kind of lost that. It's similar to what we see in Cal and Jedi Fallen Order, where he has suppressed his abilities for so long that even when he tries to access them, they're not as natural. He can't use them as potent as he used to. It takes him a while. So now that we kind of know that, I think now is where we get to see him really progress, throughout the rest of the series, where we'll get to see his powers, because we know it now. I think they dropped that. Now we're going to see him get better and better, maybe not every episode, but every time he has to really, flex his force powers, he's going to be getting better and better. So I think that's all great for the future of the show. Again, Mando is now going to take him somewhere else. And there's the whole Ahsoka thing. I want to talk about all this, but I'm also going to talk about it with Nick, so I don't want to blow my load. But I think there's just going to be more with Ahsoka. I don't think it's going to be the Mandalorian at all. I think this was a one and done, like a lot of the other Mando stuff. Which, again, the more and more people I talk to, some people have an issue with that. They have an issue with just the mission of the week kind of feel for the Mandalorian. But I just think that's what the show is. I think it's what it's always going to be. We may have wished it would be something different, where it fully fleshes out all these things it introduces, but I don't think that's what it's for. I think we got to remember, guys, that when this came out, Star Wars was in a tough spot. Disney didn't know what direction to really take the series because of how polarizing The Last Jedi was, and it was a weird opportunity. So Mandalorian's coming out, it needed to be a hit. Not only did it need to be a hit, but they couldn't. It was a time, like, if they'd have put everything into it, say they'd done what people wanted and just try to flesh out all these stories, what if it was not a success, right? I think this was the best thing for them to do, is just to put out something like this. It's as great as it is. It's a little safer, and then they can go and flesh out like this Ahsoka story. I think there's a lot of story they can tell with this, but it needs its own season or its own series or whatever, because Bo-Katan knows that she's on that planet, but why is she there for so long? Even when she's there, she seems to be very worried about the people there. Like, obviously they're like slaves or whatever. Like, she wants to free them, but she brings it multiple times. Like, do you know the people? Did you see anybody? Like, what do you mean you see anybody? Like, she doesn't know that there are people in prison there or something. I don't know. I feel like there's a story there. Like, there's enough going on that we're not aware of. Even the boss lady, like, she's making weapons. Like, she part of the First Order. I think they're maybe hinting at maybe she been given some weaponry, some ships to the First Order and stuff. That's very interesting. I think just her as a character, that whole, whatever you want to call them, like that's all interesting to me. So we'll see what direction that goes in. There's really a whole lot more to say, guys. I guess I can get into some of it now. This season 2 has just really been setting up so much stuff, for what I'm saying now. I think it's going to be future seasons. I think the only plot we might end up seeing fleshed out in this series, I think, is maybe the Mandalore plot. When they get the Darksaber, even that seems like a lot. Like, going back and conquering Mandalore seems like a lot to do for the way the Mandalorian set up, where you just have the episode of the week. I don't know if even that is possible. So we'll just have to see, guys. We really will just have to wait and see. Again, let me know what you guys thought. It's probably gonna go on my IG Live, put it on my YouTube. again, check me out on Monday, okay, on IG Live, probably about 8 o'clock Central Time. We're talking with Nick. We have hour-long conversations about the Mando, and I can tell this one's gonna be crazy. Like, we're gonna have to like structure this one really, because there's so much to talk about. We don't want to miss it, and we can go over an hour, like if we need to. But if we don't like structure it, it's gonna be 3 hours long, because we're gonna be going everywhere, and every topic can just branch off into so many different ways. So I'm really excited about that. So check me out on IG Live on Monday. I'm planning on maybe still doing like my own little reviews like I normally do, like not in the hotel like I normally do though, on top of what I do with Nick on Monday. But this is just really exciting time. I guess I didn't talk about it too much, but Ahsoka, I loved it. I think the first scene, there was like a shot where I was like, not sure how I liked how it looked, but as the episode went on, I thought it was just great. I think people have to understand that they are taking these characters from, especially someone like Ahsoka, from anime to live action. I mean, for Ahsoka, that is very, very tough. So it was not perfect, but I don't think people were expecting a lot worse, and it could have been a lot worse from her. They call them lunettes, or tentacles, we want to call them. They weren't as long as maybe you would think or would want, but at least they were there. They did a good job on them. I heard that they couldn't make them too long because of how much she's moving in action, like they'd be flying everywhere. But even her face and just the Rosario Dawson in the role, like it came across very believable. I could see her taking on the character live action moving forward. Honestly, like I think it's just fine. I think again, Ahsoka is probably the hardest character to do what they did, and for it to be as clean as they did it, I mean, pat them on the back, because Bo, a lot easier than Ahsoka. Bo-Katan, and they did it great. Really, everybody else, a Mandalorian, any of the Jedi, Darth Vader, any of those guys. Darth Vader is a live action character, but you know what I'm saying. Like, they're just much easier to convert than Ahsoka, who is an alien. She's got like I said, those tentacles are hard to pull off. Again, they had to shrink them down because they're just too long. They can't be down to her, her belly button, and while she's trying to do action scenes and whatnot. But anyway, now I'm just talking. So let me know what y'all thought. Again, I'm in the hotel. Let me get out of here. Let me know what y'all thought of the episode, and definitely check me out on IG. All right.